All right, welcome everyone to the Science of Transformation with Jenny Harkleroad. I met Jenny several years ago at a conference, and because she deals with the subconscious mind, I was immediately drawn to learn more about her and fascinated once I actually did some work with her myself. Jenny is an author, speaker, and a mind change teacher. She is also a mom of four and considers that one of her greatest accomplishments. Jenny is going to share some of her story tonight about how she overcame chronic pain and many obstacles to become healthy and balanced. And since then, she has created a company called Balanced You, where she works with a team of others to help them transform their lives so they can become the best person and the best version of themselves. So welcome, Jenny, and thanks for sharing your knowledge with us tonight.
I love it. Thanks, everybody. So happy to be here. I'm going to share my screen and take you into a PowerPoint presentation. And I get bored easily, so I have a lot of slides, so I'm not going to get bored, so hopefully you won't either. So we're going to start with Henry Ford. He says, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And I remember hearing this as I grew up and just kind of wondering how much really does our thinking play into what's going on and what we can accomplish and what we can't. And I found some kind of roadblocks with it. I found some things that I thought I was thinking the way I should be, but I still couldn't accomplish my goal. And I would get frustrated and I'd wonder, what am I missing? Is there something else to this? And so I read a lot of books, maybe some books that you guys have heard of before, like The Magic of Thinking Big and Think and Grow Rich. And I took these principles, but then I infused some brain science into these principles to create a shortcut to living my best life. And when it works so well, now I share it with everybody else because I want to help you live your best life as well. So then I hired a famous neuroscientist. His name is Dr. Jeffrey Fannin. He's the same neuroscientist who did the brain studies for Dr. Joe Dispenza, who you may have heard of. And he studied my process to figure out if it was actually changing the brain in the way I thought it was, because you'll learn a little bit more about me in this call. My background is not brain science. You'll find out what it is. So I wanted a scientist to make sure what I was sharing was accurate. And so he did these brain tests on myself and my clients. We did the studies during the process. We did the studies in person. We did the studies remotely in Zoom sessions. We did the studies before we did a 12-week program and after we did a 12-week program, and all these studies to see what was going on with people's brains when they did the work that I had created. And what we found out was their brain became more coherent. A coherent brain is a brain that communicates well, communicates with ease. It's like when you drive a new car and it's just, smooth and glides down the road. And so you can see in this brain scan that we did on one of the clients we worked with, if you look down at this row here, coherence, this was the coherence in their brain, the communication in their brain before working our 12-week program. And then after, you can see there's not a lot of lines, and you might think, well, maybe that's bad, but actually it's good. It means the brain is just going so smooth that it's like not even creating these lines which are too much energy or not enough energy or a lack of communication. And so not only did we create more coherence in the brain, we changed the brain in the delta state, the theta state, the alpha state, the beta state, and the high beta state with every single client that we worked with. This neuroscientist was quite surprised at the results. He thought, yeah, we're doing subconscious type work, and so there's probably a lot of theta brain change, but we saw change in all brain waves. So just to give you a little refresher on who I am, like Catherine said, my name is Jenny Harkleroad, and I'm an author and a speaker and a mind change teacher. And in my former life, like I mentioned, I was not a famous scientist. I was a real estate agent. And I had a team of buyer's agents and secretaries, and we were here in San Diego producing double digits in the millions, which meant I had some fun things, the houses and the cars and the travel and all of that. But like she mentioned, my greatest claim to fame, can you see in this top left, these four little guys in this picture? They are my greatest claim to fame, but they now look like this because you know what happens over the years, those kids grow like weeds. So this is me and my family. This is my husband, Dusty. We've been married 27 years. Next to my husband, Dusty's Ashley. She just finished her freshman year of college studying elementary education. Behind her is our son, Josh. He's about to turn sweet 16. On my other side is Jessica. She just finished her second year of college and is leaving for a study abroad in Spain. And behind her is our daughter, Rebecca. She's an ER room nurse in Murray, Utah. And the guy she's holding on to, that hairy dude, he's my son-in-law, Taylor, and he's awesome. This is my family. This is why I do what I do, because I wanted to be happy and enjoy my life. And before this process, I just wasn't, and I couldn't figure out why. And so we're going to dive into a little bit more about finding the joy in your life. So today, people hire me to help them be happier and healthier and wealthier. Who doesn't want that, right? We all want a little bit of that. But how do you do it a faster, easier way? That's what I've discovered. And I found that many people are struggling. I mean, look at what's gone on in our world in the last couple of years. Many people have anxiety. A lot of people are having financial troubles, a lot of fear and worry and stress, and it messes with our relationships, and it can be really hard out there. And so how do you turn that around? How do you feel better and transform from the inside out? Well, today I'm going to show you. So you're going to learn the 17-second rule. You're going to learn the 3 secrets to transformation. You're going to learn how to change your brain to create your best life. And we're actually going to do it, a brain change process. So expect to leave this hour changed if you want to participate in this brain change. And then I'm going to show you how you can work with me beyond today if you want more than an hour with me. So I've got some awesome things to share with you. Are you ready? Okay. So here's the secret. The secret is right here. It's right between your ears. Your brain is the key to your success. So how do you make your brain work for you? Your brain is controlling you, or you are controlling your brain. Which one is it? So if life is happening to you and you feel like you're strapped into a roller coaster, and maybe it gets a little white knuckly sometimes, your brain is in control. But if it feels like more of a pleasure cruise, it's because you figured out how to control your brain. And so today I'm going to teach you how to do that, to control your brain. So here's how I learned it. This was not in college. This was an accident I had on a mountainside. And I was standing on this ledge with my husband. And he said, if I was young and in shape, I would jump off of here. And I looked down, I saw the rock below, and I thought I was young and in shape. Maybe my pride got to me a little bit, and I jumped. And when I landed, I heard a crunch in my back, and I couldn't move. And my husband tried to get me up. Some of our friends tried to get me up. They couldn't, so they called 911. 911 sent in a ground crew. This is the ground crew trying to get me up, and they couldn't get me up either. And so Life Flight was called in. And this is me. I'm laying in a basket there, and there's a doctor attached to me, and they're zip lining me up to this hovering helicopter. It was a bad day. But what happened was when I got to the hospital, they told me I'd broken my back. And so when you break your back, you get some thinking time. And what I thought was, I want to get better. And I'm kind of a believer in natural things. And thankfully, my spinal cord wasn't severed. I wasn't paralyzed. I was just broken. And I figured over time, I would get better. And when I was thinking about that, I was also thinking there's a lot of things about my life that I really want to fix. Not only am I in pain right now because I have a broken back, but I've actually struggled with chronic pain my whole life. Why am I always in pain? What's going on with my body? And why can't I get along with my husband? And why do I have such a bad temper? And why don't I like my job even though I'm making so much money? And why am I so unhappy? Oh my gosh, I had all these questions, right? And I didn't know how to fix it, but first I worked on the back. And so I got all these natural things done to my back, and 6 weeks and 6 months and a year and 2 years went by and I still couldn't function. I couldn't sit in a chair. I couldn't drive my car. I was in miserable pain. And so I literally convinced surgeons to do this to me. This is my back. They put in these rods and screws and synthetic disc. And I thought, it's got to help me because I've tried all the natural stuff for 2 years. Well, guess what? 7 months later, can't sit, can't drive, can't function, burning pain. And they say, sorry, there's nothing more we can do except keep giving you pain pills. These are a lot of the pain pills they prescribed to me. And there's some good news to this story, which is these pain pills are dumped in my garden. Why did I dump them in my garden? Well, because I met this guy. This guy's name is Dr. Warren Jacobs. He's a medical doctor. And he told me I could program my brain and get out of pain. And I told him he was crazy. And he told me, there's the door. And I said, okay. I'll try your woo-woo voodoo mind melding, whatever you got, because I am desperate. Well, the joke was on me, not on him, because 6 sessions later, I was healed. This is me and my best friend, Kelly. We went down to Mission Bay and I started doing handstands and back bends because I was completely healed. I couldn't believe it. It was a miracle. And so I went back to him and I said, can you help me with a few more problems? Can you fix a few more things in my life? And he said, sure, what is it? And I said, I'm addicted to pain pills. I have a bad marriage, a bad temper, and I don't like my career or my life. And he said, sure, we can do that. And guess what? We literally did. We transformed all these things. And I was so blown away by the results that I ended up selling my real estate company and selling off all our houses, including our big custom home that we lived in, firing my housekeeper, which was really sad, and starting to study the mind with this doctor and the brain and the body and how it all worked and how you could transform from the inside out. So I'm here today to tell you that I now help people transform their lives just like he helped me transform my life. Because I can't let a day go by without sharing this secret with people. Because like that picture I showed you earlier, there's a lot of stress and pain and struggle in the world. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can change it from inside. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, that doesn't mean bad things still don't happen. It means that you change your perception. You're more open and curious and loving and forgiving and balanced and peaceful. So things don't, like for me, they don't set me off anymore like they used to. I question things and I'm open about things and curious about things. So we're going to get started with the 17-second rule. So this rule was taught to me by Dr. Jeffrey Fannin. He's the famous neuroscientist that did the brain studies on my process. If you're familiar with Esther Hicks, I've also heard the same thought from her, the 17-second rule. Basically what it is you have a thought and it's an electrical signal in your brain and it goes on for about 17 seconds and nothing happens until that 17 seconds. And at that time, that electrical signal becomes a chemical change within your body. So you start to feel equal to the way you're thinking. So you're thinking something and then pretty soon you're feeling that same thing. Now, if that goes on for more than 68 seconds, it changes your energy field. Now, if you've ever heard of The Secret, and you're trying to figure out how to attract and manifest things into your life, you probably know that you have an energy about you, and that energy attracts or repels things. And so if you have these thoughts going on, say a negative thought that turns into a negative feeling that changes into a negative energetic vibe, it's pretty hard to pull the good stuff in. And so you have to shift it. And I'm going to teach you today how to shift it, not with positive thinking or positive affirmations or mindfulness. I'm going to teach you how to change your brain. But the first thing is you have to catch the thought. You have to know what you want to change. So we're going to talk about the 17-second rule. And remember, from here on out for the rest of your life, you can only think something negative for less than 17 seconds if you don't want that to become your reality. So sorry, you don't get to be mad for very long anymore. I had a client recently and she said, you know what? I've been working on something. Instead of holding a grudge for like 3 days, I'm down to like 4 hours. And I'm like, wow, that's huge, but you only have 17 seconds or less. So keep working on it. So we're going to talk about how to do that today. All right, so here's Dr. Joe. He says we don't have to settle for our reality because we can create a new one. So how do we do that? We do that with our thinking. If we focus on what we do want instead of what we don't want, we literally change what we're attracting and what we're manifesting from the inside out. So I love these two things, the 17-second rule and just this thought about like the power that you have to create your reality. And so we're going to dive deeper into how you do that with the 3 secrets to your transformation. So secret number 1 is that you have 2 minds. You have a conscious mind and you have a subconscious mind. And your conscious mind is your aware mind, right? I know what's going on. I just heard my husband pull in. I just heard my nephew walk in. My dog's sleeping on the floor. I'm having fun talking to you, right? Like I know what's going on. My subconscious mind, that's below the surface. It's blinking my eyes and growing my hair and beating my heart and digesting my food, and it's controlling all that. But here's what I discovered. The subconscious also controls how you feel and how you think and how you act and how you react automatically. So, like I said, I used to have a bad temper. Thank goodness I got rid of that with this process. But if my husband used to say something, oh, it could make my blood boil in like less than a second flat. I mean, I could just lose my mind. Now, I didn't want to be that way. I wasn't choosing to be that way. It was a subconscious reaction. And so you can change those subconscious reactions to support you instead of sabotage you. And one thing I like to talk about, I think I gave this example on Catherine and Patrick's radio show, was about blinking your eyes. Blinking your eyes is a subconscious program. It happens automatically. But you can control it with your conscious mind. Don't blink. Keep your eyes open. Don't blink. Okay, how long can you not blink? Well, for me, I can only not blink until I'm trying to think of what I have to say next. And then I blink because it goes back to my subconscious program. My conscious mind went somewhere else. So many times in life, we're trying to create something, manifest something, achieve something, and we're consciously focused on it and we're doing well. We're eating healthier, we're exercising, and then our conscious focus shifts. We go on vacation or we get a new job or we get sick or whatever. And all of a sudden we're back to our old way. We're back to that subconscious program. So if you don't understand these 2 minds and you're only working with your conscious mind, you're losing ground. You're doing it the hard way. You're trying, when what you can do is change that subconscious. And so we're going to get deep into that subconscious today. So according to Dr. Bruce Lipton, he's a PhD cellular biologist, your subconscious mind is 1 million times more powerful than your conscious mind. 1 million times. So I love this picture of Niagara Falls. We've got the boat going up with the tourists to Niagara Falls. And I think of the falls as like your subconscious and the boat as your conscious mind. That conscious mind, that boat can want to get close to the falls. It can try to believe it's safe to go under the falls. It doesn't matter. If that boat got too close to the falls, those falls would flip it over, sink it, right? It can't compete with that power. And your subconscious is that powerful. You can't compete with it long term. And so what I'm going to teach you how to do is change your subconscious so both minds are working together. You're no longer playing this tug of war between what you consciously want and what your subconscious is programmed for. So I think of it like this. Do you want to create your best life the easy way or the hard way? And I think of it like a shovel or a tractor. We have a bunch of projects going on in our backyard right now. My husband built a guest house, and then he built this underground man cave, and he keeps renting tractors. He's moving boulders. I can't even imagine what work it would have been if he had to do that with a shovel. Right? There's so much more power in that tractor. And that's how it is with your subconscious mind. There's so much more power there. Yes, it's nice to try hard, but it's so much better to program your subconscious and use that tractor to create your best life, which is what I'm going to show you how to do on this call. Ready for secret number 2? You were programmed. Yes, you were. So, you can be mad at your parents, siblings, church, neighborhood, whoever you grew up around for a little while, because they did program you. And really, your brain is set up like that so you can survive your world, right? It helps you to be as safe as possible in your world. But a lot of us experience not the best things as we're in those programmable years. And we might get messages like we're not good enough, or we're not worthy, or we're not deserving, or we can't do anything right, or whatever those messages that either someone specifically said or we observed and took in as what we thought it meant. It became our program. So literally from when you're in your mother's womb till about 8 years old, your brain is in a theta state and it is being programmed. So if you have kids or you have grandkids who are less than 8 years old, be super careful, give them good programs, talk positive to them, tell them how amazing they are and that they can achieve anything because they can if they think they can, like Henry Ford says. So we were programmed and maybe not with the best stuff. So what do we do about that? Do we just be mad at our parents or whoever for the rest of our lives? It's an option, but there's a better option, which is secret number 3, that you can change your program. You don't have to keep the program you have. And so you can literally reprogram your brain like you can reprogram a computer. Just like you saw in those brain images that I had up there, we literally change the brain with this process. When you change the brain, it changes the cellular response and it changes the automatic. Meaning, I haven't felt my bad temper in years. Why? Is it because I'm trying to be nicer? No, I was trying to be nicer before. But now my program is to be open and curious instead of rageaholic, which somehow I got that program in my head. Maybe it's my red hair. I don't know. There's rumors like that. All right. So how do you reprogram your brain? The first thing you do is you have to open your brain bridge. It's called a corpus callosum. It runs between both hemispheres of your brain. And when you're born, there's 200 million neural connections between both hemispheres of the brain. And it's like a super highway. And your brain is in this beautiful balanced state. Babies don't need therapy, right? But what happens over time? That corpus callosum becomes more like a brick wall. Our personality develops, our beliefs develop. And you ever heard you can't teach an old dog new tricks? Why is that? Because that bridge is closed and we think it's this way and it's our way or the highway. We're set in our ways, right? So what do you do if you want to believe something else? You've got to open that bridge and get back into what we call a whole brain state. And so this is a beautiful picture of both hemispheres of the brain and kind of gives an idea. The right side is more passionate and creative and loving and emotional. And the left side is more logical and accurate and analytical and strategic. Wouldn't it be great to just have a balanced brain where you were like both of those evenly? So when you saw things, you experienced it from a more balanced state of mind. So this is what we create in the process. We create a whole brain state. And Dr. Bruce Lipton, PhD, says this is a state of super learning where you use 100% of your brain when you open that brain bridge. So no more thoughts on we only use 10% of our brain or whatever. That was back in the past when they did some studies. They found our brain was full of glial cells. They thought glial cells weren't processing brain power. They're not filler material. And so it wasn't true to start with, but what was true is that brain bridge closes and we don't use all of our brain because we just have certain beliefs and they're in certain parts of our brain, and that's the path we go down unless we open that bridge and create a whole new brain and a whole new life. So literally what can happen to you is it can change your perception, your perspective. It can change what you see. So when I look in the mirror, I see the same old Jenny that I did 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years ago, right? Minus my haircut. But I feel nothing like how I used to feel. I feel like a completely new person from the inside out because my brain has changed. And so I experience life differently. It's like that reticular activating system in your brain that if you buy a new car and all of a sudden that car is in your awareness, and then all of a sudden you see that car everywhere and you're like, wow, how did so many of these cars get on the road? I never even noticed before I had one. Right? Your perception has changed. And this process changes your perception. So you see things in a more balanced and positive and optimistic and happy and healthy light. And why not? Right? Why not live that way? So how do we do it? The first thing we do is we figure out, what do you want? What do you want different in your life? And we write it like a positive affirmation. But we're not going to say it like a positive affirmation. We're going to take it much deeper into a process that'll literally change your brain. And so I've written some examples for you. And here's 10 of them. And what I'd like you to do is choose one of these 10. Or if you don't like any of them, you can write one of your own. But it's got to be in this type of format where it's first person and present tense and positive and short and meaningful. And it doesn't have any words like no or not or don't or can't or won't. We want to say something like it already exists. So for example, goal number 1, I am happy and healthy. If you're not and you want to be, this would be a great goal. Number 2, I'm worthy and deserving of success. If you think maybe you're not and you want to be, that would be a great goal for you. Number 3, it's so easy for me to make lots of money. If you wish that was true, that could be a good goal for you. Number 4, I feel comfortable talking to people in large and small groups. Sometimes people get nervous when they have to speak and present something. And if that's an issue for you and you want to be more comfortable with it, number 4 would be a great goal for you. Number 5, my relationships are happy and healthy and fulfilling. If that's true, awesome. If it's not true, this would be a great goal to work on. Number 6, I'm confident, bold, and successful. If you need more of that, maybe choose that goal. 7, I focus on my why and know my purpose. This is a big one. Sometimes we just go through the motions, we do what we have to do to pay the bills, but I think we're born for more than that. And so if we can figure out why we're here and know that purpose and live that purpose, it's a good life. And I know that from switching from real estate, which wasn't my favorite, to what I do now, which I just love and have a passion for. So if you need a little more of that, go with number 7. Number 8 is my body and mind are calm and peaceful. If you tend to be a little bit more anxious or you have some body aches and pains, this would be a great one for you. Number 8. Number 9, I'm healthy and fit and love my body. If I could get every woman in the world to believe this one, oh my goodness. They say, well, I don't want to like it how it is because I don't like it how it is. And if I like it how it is, I won't change. Well, that's not true, actually. Because what happens is when you love yourself, you take better care of yourself. So if you want to love yourself more, if you want to take better care of yourself, number 9 might be a great goal for you. Number 10, my sleep is quick and easy and refreshing. If sleep is an issue for you, this might be a good goal for you. All right, so do you want to change your brain to believe in one of these 10 goals?
Let me get a screenshot.
You guys mute, please. All right, so which one do you want? And if you don't like any of these, you can write your own. It's going to sound like a positive affirmation. All right. So give me a thumbs up when you know your goal, which one you're going to use. I see Des thumb and Catherine thumb. Awesome. Stephanie's thumb is up. Cool. Annie's up. Awesome. Patrick, cool. I know, let's see, I see John. Is that an actually John?
No, Karen.
Karen. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought so. All right. Awesome. Anybody have a question before we proceed?
I have one.
Yes.
Do you set a goal, and when you feel that you've achieved it, you've done that mind change, do you set another goal? I mean, is this a process of goal setting?
Absolutely. Yes.
I-
Absolutely. It reminds me of a time that we were designing this house to build, and I brought it into the city to get a permit, and they said, you need to change this and this and this and this. And I changed, my architect changed it. I brought it back and they said, oh, and now you need to change this and this and this. And I thought, well, why didn't you tell me what to start with? Right. Well, what happened was they couldn't even see it because the other things were in the way. And the same thing happens with these goals. Once one is achieved, then pretty soon you have another goal that's most important in your life that you want to work on. And then you have another one that's most important that you want to work on. So absolutely, it's an ongoing process, just like being physically fit, right? We don't get in shape and then we're done. We have to keep working at it. All right, did I answer your question?
Yes, because you have several good goals up there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, take a screenshot.
Thank
You can work on all of these.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good. All right. So are you guys ready to do a process with me to change your brain? You open to it?
Sure.
Okay, awesome. So this process, it's called a balance, and I call it a balance because it balances both hemispheres of the brain. So the first thing that this process does is it opens that brain bridge, the corpus callosum, to put you in a whole brain state. And it also slows your brain down into a more programmable state. And the next thing it does is it describes the goal to the subconscious mind, because the subconscious speaks in sensory language. What does it feel like and look like and sound like? So we're going to describe the goal. So the subconscious is like, oh, okay, I get it. I can create that. And then the next thing we're going to do is change your energy field to raise your energy so that it matches the vibration of what you want. And so you're going to follow along with me in this process, and we're just going to go step by step. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to cross your arms out in front of you in an X, and you're holding your hands about eye level. And your arms are away from your body, so you're not going cross-eyed trying to look at your arms. Okay? And then you're going to look at one hand and you're going to trace your eyes down to your elbow. And then you're going to look at the other hand and trace your eyes down to your elbow. And you're going to do that about 10 times. So you're making an X with your eyes. And whenever you're done with that, you're going to bring your arms to your chest, and you're going to put your feet flat on the floor, and you're going to close your eyes, and you're going to take 3 slow breaths. when you're ready, you're going to cross your ankles and you're going to keep your arms where you're at, and you're going to close your eyes, and you're going to take about 3 more slow breaths. When you're ready, you're going to put your feet flat on the floor. You're going to uncross your arms. You're going to open your hands and set them on your thighs with your palms facing up. And you're going to close your eyes, and you're going to take about 3 more slow breaths. And when you're ready, you're going to take a quick little peek at your goal that hopefully you wrote down or remember what it was. And you're going to think about what would visually look different in your life when you accomplish this goal. So try to picture yourself like you're in a movie and you haven't accomplished this goal and what that looks like. And then all of a sudden you have accomplished the goal and what looks different. Try to see at least 3 things that look different when you've accomplished your goal. When you're ready, I want you to think about what will someone who knows you and loves you say positively to you when what you just visualize comes true, and try to hear it in their voice. And when you're ready, think about what positive thing you'll say to yourself when what you just visualize comes true, and try to hear it in your voice. And next, think about how you're going to feel when what you just visualize comes true, and really try to feel it in your body. Just pick one feeling and really get into the feeling of that feeling. Think of a time you felt that way before and really feel it in your body. And give it at least 15 seconds. I'm going to let my dog out while you do that. When you're ready, you're going to put both arms straight out in front of you with your palms facing down. And feel free to look at me for this part so you can see what I'm doing. And you're going to put one hand on top of the other hand with your top hand touching your bottom pinky finger. And you're going to swipe your hand up your arm and around to your heart. And then you're going to put your arms straight back out and do the same thing on the opposite side. And do it on the other side. And keep going back and forth from one side to the other side. And once you get that motion down, you're going to look down at your goal statement. Hopefully you wrote it down or remember it. And you're going to start repeating it silently while you're doing this motion. When you're ready, you're going to take your right hand and you're going to put it over your belly button. And you're going to just swipe your hand up to your heart. And then you're going to do that with your left hand. And then your right hand. And then your left hand. Keep doing that motion while repeating your goal silently over and over again. When you're ready, you're going to interlace your fingers and you're going to set your hands in your lap. And you're going to keep repeating your goal silently with your eyes closed. Just take your time, but when you're ready, you can open your eyes. All right. Nice work, everybody. So that process literally just changed your brain. You may wonder, how did it do that? That seemed like, I was breathing, I was doing some body postures. Like, how did that change my brain? And I like to look at this little slide here with computer programming. And if you've ever seen computer programming, it's like zeros and ones and dashes and slashes. And then somehow that turns into some computer code, which creates some amazing program or product, right? Our brain is the same way. It's complex, but it just takes some simple things to change the brain like you just did right now. You literally open that brain bridge, you describe the goal to the subconscious, you built a new pathway between both hemispheres of the brain so that your brain literally processes this goal different now. This changes your cellular response. It changes how the cell membrane responds automatically. So you no longer have to try to accomplish the goal. It's going to be automatic to accomplish the goal. However, if you take action, it will happen even faster. So the question is, what action can you take to get you closer to this goal? So I'm going to give you some examples. I'm going to go back to that page where it had the goals. So if you wanted to take an action to be happy and healthy, you might ask yourself, well, what brings me joy? Maybe it's taking time to do some self-care, like doing something fun every day. It doesn't have to be crazy or expensive, but just, read a book or take a walk or go in your garden or go to the beach or something you can do that will just bring some joy into your life. Healthy, right? You can make healthy food choices. You can think about this thing I'm eating, how will it help nourish my body? So those could be action plans. If it's number 2, worthy and deserving of success, maybe read or study a little bit more about your divinity and who you are and why you're here. And we're all worthy. The only people who aren't are the ones who think they're not. They actually are too, right? It's just a thought. So how can you believe you're worthy? Maybe understanding your purpose and potential. So maybe you can journal on that, learn more about it, think about it. Number 3, it's so easy for me to make lots of money. Well, how can you do that? Well, if you have a job, you can ask for a raise or you can get a better paying job. If you have a business, you can work on a new marketing campaign to get new clients, or you can make more sales calls. So can you see the action is not repeating the goal statement? The action is doing something to get you closer to your goal. So I want you to write down the action. What action are you going to take in the next 7 days that will get you closer to your goal? And then after this call, I want you to make sure you time block for it so you can get it done, make it happen. So what you're going to notice is that whatever you worked on is going to start to shift automatically. And then the action you take is like fertilizer to the garden. It makes it happen even quicker than that. Any questions on what we just did or the action plan? Okay, then we're going to move on. So here's the thing, and this question was asked earlier. We have 50 to 80,000 thoughts per day, according to psychologists, and 80% of them negative and 90% a repeat of yesterday. So would changing your brain this one time fix everything? I wish I could say yes, but no, there's more work to do. And like I mentioned, it's just like working out the body. You have to do it again and again to keep it in shape. So what I'm going to be talking to you about is a way that you can keep changing your brain. You can keep working on all the different aspects of your life that you want transformation in. And so it's like eating healthy. It is like exercising. It's a continual process of improving yourself. Now, when I started this process, like I said, I had some big problems. I had chronic pain. I had a pain pill addiction. I had a bad marriage. I had a bad temper. I didn't like my career. These are huge things. Now, the kind of things I work on are just little course corrections, like when you drive a car and you're always kind of like just moving the wheel just slightly. I'm always asking myself, how would I have rather felt about that? Or what would I have rather thought about that? Or how could that have gone better? And making little tweaks. So my life just keeps getting better and better and better and better. Because why not? I had way too many unhappy years. So now I'm just going to make it as good as it can possibly be. So does this actually even work? I mean, it seems kind of woo-woo voodoo maybe. Well, it's actually scientific, as I mentioned to you. And what we've done is we've tracked our last almost 400 clients. And what we do is the process that you just did, that's called a balance. And so every balance that we do with a client, we ask them a week later, what percentage of transformation have they seen in their goal? And this is what our clients tell us. So on their short-term goals for health and wellness, at least, let's see, I'm going to read it right. 69% of our clients say at least they have a 50% improvement in their short-term health and wellness goals with one balance. One balance, just like what you did today. On the next one, 72% of our clients say they have at least a 50% improvement on their short-term professional success goals with one balance, what you just did today. And our clients say 84% of them have at least a 50% improvement in their short-term relationship goals. Imagine all the people getting divorced. They don't need to. We got 84% of them say it's halfway better within one balance, within 1 week. So what about long-term goals? Because, short-term goals are easier to get to. Well, here's what our clients report, the last about 400 of them, on their long-term goals. 42% of them say they've had a 50% improvement in long-term health and wellness goals with one balance, one process. Our clients say professional success, 66% of them are halfway better on their professional success long-term goal with one balance. And in relationships, 61% of them say a 50% improvement with one balance. That's pretty amazing. And that's not because I'm amazing. It's because our brain is amazing. Our subconscious is amazing. The power of our mind is amazing. And if we train our brain to create our best life, it will. And if we just go with the flow, we're just stuck with whatever programs and patterns are in there. So this is like an opportunity to take hold of your power, right? You can create anything you want in your life with the power of your mind. So again, we're not talking about a positive attitude. We're not talking about ignoring problems. We're not talking about positive affirmations. We're talking about changing your brain at a cellular level to change the printout of your life. It's the science of transformation that we're talking about today. So this process will work for you if you work it. Like any process, you have to work it to make it work. And so you just did one goal, and that goal will work for you. And when you do your action plan, it'll exponentially work better and faster for you. And as time goes on, it'll just keep getting better. But you'll probably notice a shift within a day or two. It happens that fast. So here's the question. Are you ready to create your best life? It's right there within your grasp. Do you want to create that best life? So I've created a way for you to do that. And if you go to this website, balancedyou.org/TT, it stands for Transformation Tuesdays. I facilitate this process plus 15 other processes that I've created in group sessions, just like you experienced a little snippet of today. I help you set a goal. I walk you through a brain change process, and I help you to create your best life in each of these goals. Everything is confidential, just like now. You didn't tell me what you're working on or anybody else on this call. You just came with your goals, and we worked on changing your brain for success. So I want to show you this website real quick. I'm going to stop my share and share a different screen. It'll look the same for a second, but it's actually the website. So this is where you go if you'd like to participate with me. And so it's got that same introduction. And it just says, if you're feeling mad or bad or sad or unworthy or unloved or undeserving or unappreciated or fearful or worried or overwhelmed or stuck or unsure or struggling in relationships or your professional life or your mind or your body, you can turn that all around with this process. And it really has to do with just changing your brain and going for it in a way that will get you there instead of a way that you'll just get frustrated with yourself and be in that stuck or that struggle or the complaining or the addictive behaviors to cover up the frustration. This process really will work for you. And so we have a super sale going on right now. And so I'm excited to share that with you. This program happens every Tuesday. It's from 12 to 1 Pacific time, and it's recorded. So if you can come live, awesome. And if you can't, you can do the recording every week, and you can do it as many times as you want to. And every process we work on, I give you ideas of goals to work on, and they literally are limitless how many things you can program your mind for. So normally it's $29.97 for this program for the entire year. But we have a sale going on right now, so it's only $19.97, and it's 4 to 5 hours per month, because sometimes there's 4 Tuesdays in a month and sometimes there's 5 Tuesdays in a month. So that's why it's 4 to 5 hours. So an hour a week of transforming your brain so you can create your best life instead of your life controlling you. Now, Catherine and Patrick convinced me to give you a super sale price, even better than the sale I'm offering. So if you click here, register now. Actually, I didn't mean to do that. Let me stop my share because I already had it pulled up. It'll give it to you faster, I think. Is that it? Maybe not. Oh, there we go. Okay. So if you want this program for another $1,000 off, you just go to this promo code and you type super sale. There we go. Capital S's, super sale, no space. When you do that, you hit the apply button. It takes $1,000 off, and it's $9.97 for the whole entire year. Okay, that's like $19 an hour to work on transforming your brain. Now, this is a yearly subscription, and so it renews at that discount if you want to renew it. And if you don't, then just let us know. But most people stick with it because they have so much fun and so much transformation. And you would get it at that same discount price if you wanted to renew it. So there's also a couple bonuses, and let's see here. A couple bonuses are, let me scroll down to them. You get a PDF copy of my book, Breaking to Be Me. It's the secret to overcoming chronic pain. So if you're in pain or know somebody who is, you'll get the download of that book. You'll also get the Biology of Happy Relationships. It's a workbook on how to transform your relationships. And the third bonus is you'll get the Science of Money workbook, which teaches you how to tap into the power of your mind to make more money. So spend some time on this page. There's client results, there's frequently asked questions, and best of all, there's the registration button, so you can get started in your transformation. So let me do one last screen share, which is back to my PowerPoint presentation. And let's go from my current slide. Let's see. Oops, I think my current slide went to the wrong one. All right, hold on. Here we go. This is where I want to be, right at the end. So there we go. Okay, perfect. So I just want to remind you that Henry Ford was actually right. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And now science has caught up so that we understand how to tap into this power, how to change our brain, and how to change our life. So again, here's our little hints to where to go to grab this sale. If you want to work on your brain and change your life, you go to balanceyou.org/TT. I don't know why that extra line is there. It'll work, but it doesn't need to be there. The promo code is super sale. It'll give you $1,000 off, and it only goes until the end of Monday, July 25th. Now, the reason we're letting it go that long, usually it would just be like immediately, is because a lot of people want to watch the replay. They couldn't make it live, and we want to give them a chance to get the sale price too. So for those of you who are live, of course, we want to give you an extra bonus, which is here, if you see the asterisks, the first 3 to sign up for this program get a free private hour-long balance session with me and a free private follow-up. That's a $297 value. If you called me to do that, that's the price. It's not an inflated value. That's what I charge. Why? Because it's custom time with me. We use applied kinesiology muscle testing to figure out what your blocks are, what's going on, and help you to change your brain. So thank you for spending your night here with me. I'm happy to be able to share what I've discovered, to share what's created my best life, to share what's created the best life for now hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients that we've worked with to change their brain to create their best success. So thanks for being here tonight, and I'll stay on for questions. Any questions for me?
Yeah, we did have some in the chat. Somebody asked, is the balance process to be done daily?
Yeah, so I love doing this process daily. So one of the cool things about this program is you'll get a recording of every session. And so you can just play the recording anytime you want and do as many balances as you want. So the more balances you do, the better things will get. Just like that quote that said, we have 50 to 80,000 thoughts per day and 80% negative and 90% a repeat of yesterday. Well, the more you can work on your brain so you're controlling it instead of it's controlling you, you will just see your life shift and change faster and faster. Awesome. Was there any other questions?
Some awesome comments. People have worked one-on-one with Jenny, highly recommend working with her.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
it's a cool process, guys. I've done several sessions with Jenny.
Awesome.
Wow.
Thank you. Pull up my chat so I can see it too. Awesome. Thanks, Annie. Thanks, Des. Love it. Awesome. Any other questions? All right. I think we're good.
Okay,
Thanks,
folks.
Catherine,
Well,
for having me tonight.
thanks, Jenny. And for everybody, we will be putting out the link for the recording. If you want to listen again and learn that process again, you will have access to that. Thank you so much, Jenny.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you
Okay.
both.
Thanks, Jenny. Have a nice night, everyone.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank you. Have a good night.